Hey, I'm Leo Hare. It's early morning, and I don't really know. I think it's around 5:30. Standing in front of this beautiful church. There's do this right. There's the belfry that we're helping to finish. We're facing the brick with cement. This is the old church. It was I guess it was destroyed during the Revolution. Father Ignati has been letting us work on his building. I had this video this morning because I need to make a statement about my wife's cry for help the other day. I'm going to just turn this off and get into the kitchen so I can talk. As many know, the video of my wife is almost unbearable to watch or even to hear. She was in a graveyard, a woman crying in a graveyard about how her life is falling apart and has been damaged. And she just told the story with tears, and I was practically crying hearing her video. And maybe I should have been crying because it was about us. So, a crying woman in a graveyard is probably one of the most painful sights probably you would ever see. So I want to explain what happened here. We came to Russia on December 1st, and we were able to rent a place for about 6 days. Our immigration helper, helper supervisor, whatever, Svetlana Rose, was great. She found a wonderful place. It's called the Huturuski. It's really great, somewhere in Moscow. But we could not find a place to rent in Moscow. The main problem really was not that things weren't available, is that nobody wanted to register to a foreigner and a stranger. They didn't want to register this person because it has legal implications. We found this out now that there are two reasons, basically. People don't like to rent to foreigners is they have to register and be responsible for them on some level. And also, some of them don't want to pay any tax. So, the whole tax issue, I don't know if that's such a big deal. I'm from America. I know what taxes are. Okay, I'm not sure that Russians understand what real taxing is. But let's move on here. So, coming up to the seventh day, one of the managers there, he's actually a Duma member. His name is, I'm sorry, I'm slow this morning. I haven't had coffee and I'm old. Dmitry. I forgot his last name. But he's a friend of the immigration team. So he knew somebody down in Domodedovo who had a farm in Zenikovo, just south of Kashira. And he had some like little cabins on his farm. So we were very thankful that we found a place to live finally, and we made the trip down there with all our stuff, and that's where we have been staying until very recently, since December. I'm not mentioning the names of people who have, let's say, taken our money, because we're not going to put out a slander. However, I will be filing a what would be called a criminal complaint in Domodedovo. Once that's there, I believe that makes it public, and I'll be able to mention names without a charge of slander. Okay, so we went down there, and even before the turn of the year, uh, the owner's son came and said, "Hey, no, actually, the owner said, well, my son has a business and he can handle your money, and maybe you want to invest in his business." So his son then kind of showed up. What is going on? I don't want this to happen. I'm not. Let me see my ugly face. So close. Here, I get that. All right. Um, he he convinced us that he had a business. He was the financial CEO of the company. He had short-term deals he did. He had pictures on his cell phone of important people in Moscow. I mean, I believed him. I don't know. I see a guy sitting behind a desk about, 50 years old. And maybe he's important. Maybe he's not. But anyway, I believed him. I mean, after all, he was the guy's son. He was trying to help us. He said he wanted to give us some kind of income. He knew that we couldn't work, so he wanted to give us some way. This is everything he told us. Now, maybe he had good intentions and he was just one of these people who are just stupid. But I just don't know. I was dumb. We gave him the money. Chantel was not into it. She was mad at me. Uh, I have committed a crime against my wife by kind of overruling her and giving my money to this guy who talked a good line. Well, anyway, what happened was a few days later, we gave him all our money. He actually did convert it into rubles, and then his dad invited us up to stay the night at his house in Domodedovo, and his son plopped the stack of rubles there in front of us, and he told us if he could keep $50,000 worth of it, well, what would it be, 5 million rubles worth of it, that he would give us a preferred interest rate. What is it? 28% a year, compounded monthly at 2.33%. I was thinking, well, if this kid's really got all the deals he says going, and he's got all this money, he says that there's so much money that the amount of money you'd be not lending, I guess, investing would be, a small amount, and we could always give it back whenever you need it. When you need to buy a house or a car, blah, blah, blah. He just read me like a book and said whatever he needed to get his hands. So we gave him the money, and for the first 3 months, Chantel and I were trying to figure out where we want to live, how much houses are, where we could buy, because there's this registration law where there's certain places you can't be registered in. It's a perfectly good house. Somebody wants to sell it. You can't be registered in there. So then, okay, fine. So we're looking for another place. Keep running into this registration law. Okay. So they were there, and then after about like in the fourth month, and I don't even know what the fourth month is. It's April. We basically said we need our money back now. We just got to have it now. Sorry about shaking the camera like that. We need it back now, and he started hemming and hawing and making excuses, trying to make other deals and all kinds of things. And I started really losing faith that he even had our money. But I was really just trying to not jump to conclusions and just work with him. So I spent a long time just trying to work this out with him privately. I didn't want to bring shame on him or his family, because his family is prominent in certain religious circles in Russia, really. And I said, just please fulfill your contract. Then he started saying things. He just kept on making excuses and not following through. And it was just, the pattern was pretty obvious. We were able to get something out of him, like 6 million rubles. That just, no, 6 million, wrong. 60,000 rubles, 6,600. No, 610,000 rubles. Yeah, enough we got it out of him. As soon as I got that out of him, he called it interest, but I don't think it was interest. I think he just took money out of some fund somewhere and just gave it to us and called it interest, just to make us let us have the illusion that our money's actually earning anything. So, so we got that. And as soon as I got that, I said, all right, I'm going to get all of our money back according to the contract that we signed. So I started demanding my money back. He told me he wasn't going to give it back, that he had in quote invested it. I say spent it on a long-term investment. He said a long-term real estate investment. I asked him what the investment was. He never told me. I Yeah, it's working. Um, Nothing transparent. I asked the name of his company. He wouldn't tell me. I asked the name of his partners that he kept talking about. Wouldn't tell me. Never gave that information. This was all done on WhatsApp because he doesn't speak English. And through translation on WhatsApp. So I didn't want to talk to his dad about it because I didn't want to bring shame on the kid. I want the kid to be able to handle his own business. But at some point, I said, I said, your son doesn't want to give us back our money. He goes, what? Oh, this couldn't be. But anyway, let me think what happened here now. So now we had another complication. We had given permission for the Russian Ministry of the Interior to use our images and our story on some kind of public relations thing they had going. And it turns out this was this was part of their rollout of Putin's decree of August 15th. So President Putin had this decree ready, and they needed some kind of face or some kind of family to kind of show. And we're the people, because I was talking about moral migration when I was in Texas. I was already telling my wife, I really feel that somehow we're going to be part of this whole moral migration thing. And I believe God is having us be part of this in Russia. This was already in my heart before we got on the plane. So I am like the guy who will say what's required to put bad light on the United States and on the Western nations, and a good light on Russia. Again, I don't think that Russia is a perfect country. I don't think Russians think it's a perfect country, but it is an ark of safety for those who have Christian values. So this is the message I brought from America before I even knew I'd be part of this kind of thing. This is a work of God. This is not my doing. This is God's doing. I'm just a willing servant of God's purposes. So we had to keep all this money issue quiet. We didn't tell anybody. The only people knew was our immigration team and like one other close friend. I mean, and we had to just try to deal with this. We were by ourselves. We were alone. I didn't go to the police. I didn't say anything to the anybody. Okay, and so we have been suffering under this tyranny of this fraud for months. But finally, when the rollout of President Putin's decree came forth, well, we were advised by another lawyer that we had to get out of the property before he goes and actually tries to deal with our case in the court. So we had no money. We could not go and buy a place. We couldn't find any place to rent in Kashira. Nobody would register us. The same problem. We couldn't take care of ourselves. So then we had to say, okay, our immigration team found a farm up near Kolomna. It's a hotel. They have a farm to table kind of food chain. I've even helped slaughter when I was there. I helped slaughter animals that they were then feeding to the guests. Roast duck, I guess, because it was ducks. But we were kind of forced to go into this kind of servitude there, and it wasn't bad. I mean, they were going to give us each 70,000 rubles a month to work. They had a very nice house, kind of a log house with nice modern interior, very comfortable. It's their original house before they made the hotel, and maybe they live somewhere else. I don't know. But the problem is I was working 5:30 in the morning to about 6:30 to 7:30 at night every day. Now, I didn't mind I didn't really mind the tough schedule. I didn't mind the farm work. But after 8 days of this, I asked the owner there, the wife. I said, can I please have a day off? I need to take care of myself and my family. Or, I could do nothing for my family. But she informed me that I would have to put my oldest son in my place, and then I can have as much rest as I wanted. And Chantel had been sick. She was having some problems, and it's just the feelings and the spirit behind everything started to seem really unjust to us. That, for instance, they don't do anything to stagger work schedules, so even any of the farmhands can have any of time of their own during daylight hours. Now maybe it gets quieter during the winter, and it's just hard going in the summer, and I understand that. But telling me I had no right to have any days off or any times off, that breaks Russian law. Okay, that is. I mean, the law is there to help people who don't have much, decency, to at least follow a code of decency. Well, okay, it was an indecent arrangement, and we had to quit. So we told them we're gonna get out of here. So we started immediately looking for places in Colombia. We found a lot of places that are rentable. Nobody wanted to register a foreigner. Again, this law is so unfair. An owner of a property has to be responsible for the people he rents to. And the laws are so stacked against the owner that they just want to make sure it's somebody they can actually trust. Then they might register them if they, feel good about the person. But the laws are so unjust for the landowner. And there were probably reasons they put this in place. Russia was not inviting people in at those times. It was probably trying to, I don't know, keep people out. I don't know. I don't know what the political environment was when those laws were formulated. But Russia has now invited people to come in as moral migrants. And now, oh, by the way, if you can't buy a place, there's no place for you to live. So come on to Russia. What? Be homeless? I mean, so what I'm saying is the law itself is outdated. Let's just say it this way: it's an outdated law. It's not serving the larger purposes which the Ministry of the Interior is now trying to bring forward. So I think, again, this is not to criticize. I guess our lives are kind of like a sign that this law needs to be worked on, because this happens to others. Others have had to go back to their native country. They just had to, because they just don't want to be homeless in Russia, basically. I don't know of these people. I've just heard of them. So I'm just saying this is a problem that we would like to see changed, for our sake. But we're kind of in a situation now where the goodness of Father Ignati here at the church up near Rostov Veliki, wonderful man. He's a great guy, and he's really opened up the arms of Mother Russia, I would say, and he has shown us this kindness, and we're here right now. So let me see if there's something useful to say about the story. Okay, so we finally were able to escape from that farm hotel place, and now we're here, and we're now just trying to deal with the psychological trauma that this has brought upon us, upon the children. We've got the older boys up on the belfry. We're helping Father Ignati finish this belfry before the cold winter comes, because you can't set concrete in freezing weather. Um, and we're doing what we can here. I'll be going up to Yaroslavl today to get our registration. Once I have that, I'm going to go down to Domodedovo and file a criminal complaint against what I believe is provable as financial fraud. And at that time, I will let the names out of those who have done this to us. So I just wanted to give this little video to kind of give maybe some more of the nuts and bolts of really what has been happening. Mainly the law on temporary registration has made us have to do things we wouldn't normally have done when we came to Russia. It has put us in just a bad deal. So we're really, I would ask that the officials in the Russian government would see our story, understand its complications, and to please work on this situation. It's been some of the most painful days of my life. I love Russia. I love the people. I like being around Russians. They have a calming. It's like bees. You know how bees they supposedly have this calming effect on people. You know, they have like beds where like a beehive is like under them, and they sleep kind of on a mesh or something above, so they get the energy for the bees. I mean, I've seen this. This is pretty strange, but to me, Russians have this calming effect on me, and I enjoy being here. We're very happy we're here. We believe that our problem is somehow God is using it to highlight some issues that really do need to be addressed, not only for immigrants or moral migrants. I think moral migrants are really the group that needs to be favored in this situation. Not necessarily every immigrant should have this law changed for them. This would be depending on the agenda of the Immigration Bureau, the Ministry of the Interior, of who they want in the country. I understand all this. But for moral migrants that are being invited in, there has to be grease on the skids. You know, you got to grease the skids. It's got to be able to move forward. We don't invite everybody. It's like everybody gets on a freeway and there's a brick wall across the freeway. Well, the freeway's there, but there's a brick wall there. You know, let's all run into the brick wall and have a miserable time. So we believe God is using us as a kind of an outward sign, and we believe our situation will resolve. We hope we'll get our money back. Many people say it's impossible. They don't believe that. A lot of distrust from people in let's say, I guess we call it not necessarily law enforcement, but the Justice Department. I believe we'll overcome that too. This is too unjust what has happened. I don't think this will be let go. So with that, I just want to sign off, and I want to thank my Russian friends. Many of you, I don't like talking to like a group of people like this. I don't like this famous thing. I'm not into it. But just to say, I know there are many out there who have good, positive thoughts toward us, who pray for us, who follow our story. I just hope to meet everyone who cares about us. I'd like to shake everybody's hand at least once, please. If you can find me, come say, hey, I've been watching you. I just came to shake your hand. I want to meet you guys. I want to meet everybody, because when you know so many people care, there's a lot more that you don't know who are also caring. I just want to say thank you, and I want to say that God bless your homes. God bless your lives. May God's wisdom propagate into your lives and into your decisions. And let's see Russia rise into its destiny. I really believe this is a
a time of renaissance for Russia. So, what did they say? Slava Russia, and then praise God. I forgot how to say praise God. Everybody make Jesus your Lord, your Savior, and the one who leads you into righteousness. That's the key. Okay, with that, all I can say is have a great day, and we'll be showing up again on this subject pretty soon.
There's the moon, symbolizing the church. There's the sun, symbolizing God. And there's the church tower that we're working on. Have a good day.